Hello. So, you know how, like, around Christmas time, you're like a kid. You're like, can I just open one? I just want to see one. When is it going to be tomorrow? When is Christmas going to happen? Or you're going on vacation and you're like, are we there yet? When do we get to leave? When is it going to happen? I can't wait. And I've been like that for a while now. And tomorrow we leave and I get to go see my son graduate. And I'm so excited. I'm like, I have been waiting for this day since I sent him off and cried for a month straight. But it's that feeling of like everything's working out. And it's funny because when all of a sudden something happens and it's like your mood begins to shift, you're going to notice that everything comes bombarding at you and you're like, all these great things are happening. Oh my goonies, I'm so excited. And the thing is, once you start feeling that and you feel the kettle starting to boil, let it just, let it go. Because if you try to contain it, you're going to like snuff it out, let's say, rather than, I like that, give me more of that, give me more of that. Because the universe is like, oh, you like that? Hold on, I got more for you. And you're like, okay, I'm ready. Keep it coming. And it's funny because I've always been a person that it's really hard for me to accept from others. It's a trauma response. I could do it myself. I'm strong. I don't need nobody's help. And we all get like that over time. Well, I can't say we all, because either you block people, you're like, nah, I'm good. Or you're like, I need your help. And you become codependent and needy. There's spectrums, right? There's always one side, two sides. Heads or tails, two sides of a coin. So you have to get that in balance. You have to be able to give and take. And I told somebody the other day, I said, because I gave her something. She wanted coffee, and I don't drink coffee, but I had some cappuccino at my house, and I was like, here, you can just have this. And she goes, I'll pay you back when I get paid. And I was like, you don't owe me anything, and I would have just thrown it in the trash. So like I tell my kids, you have to learn to be a giver so others can be a taker, but you have to do it in a balance. You'll start realizing when you're around somebody toxic because you give and they're like, oh, thank you. What else you got? And you give, thank you. And eventually they stop saying thank you and they're like, what else you got? No, that's not good enough. What else you got? And you'll find that people will begin to navigate around and find others that will give to them more than what you're offering them, because they're just greedy, selfish, stingy people. Those are the kinds of people you don't want to surround yourself with, right? So you have to balance yourself, get grounded. And you do that by silencing that monkey mind chatter. I know it's hard. Sheena likes to talk at night, and it's like, shush it, shush it. We're going to bed now. It's funny when you lay down to go to bed, all of a sudden you got a 3-year-old in your head. The sky is blue, the water moves. Just things start going and you're just like, why won't it stop? And only if it could be that simple, right? Because you're like, oh, this bill's got to be paid. Man, where am I going to get that money? Oh, what am I going to wear tomorrow? And it just keeps going. So-and-so said this last week or 10 years ago. And at some point, we got to learn to quiet it down. Because when you can quiet it down and you can feel those good things come in, that's when you're like, give me more, I want more of that. I like that. And I've never liked surprises. I've always, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it was, I was disappointed with the surprise at some point in my life and it just became like, I don't care for that. Or I was going to have something happen and then it didn't. And someone said, oh, I was going to do that. And it was like, okay, you didn't. And even with my birthday coming up, it's hard for me to get excited because my ex was always like, what's important? Everybody's born. I haven't celebrated my birthday and it was probably 10 years. When I came back home, I take that back, my parents celebrated for me. Like they tried to make me feel special, and at that time, I couldn't accept that. It was very uncomfortable for me. This is the first year I'm kind of like, my birthday's coming up, and it's kind of exciting. Someone said, you're going to do anything fun? I was like, No, I'm going to be working. I'm off the day before, but I'm going to be working. But it's still the fact that I can actually enjoy myself, embrace myself, be excited about something. Just like packing up to leave and go off in some freaking blizzardy type weather. We're in Texas, so it's not a blizzard, but anytime that we have icy roads, which would so happen to choose to start the day before we leave on our adventure, it's kind of like, yep. I was talking to my mom this morning, and I was like, it just comes out of nowhere. Like when I got home almost 4 years ago, I was getting my vehicle inspected, and my friend goes, I broke down in Amarillo, can you come get me? And I said, if my car passes inspection, I'll come get you. They had run it a second time, and they were like, yeah, oddly, it passed inspection. Not oddly, but it did. So I'm telling him, yeah, I'll be on my way to come get you. And as I'm saying it, I'm looking at the news, and it says, freak blizzard is rolling in through Amarillo, coming in tonight, which is when I was leaving. And it was the first time in like 10 or 15 years, and I'm like, what the smudge? Why? And I remember getting all the way to Amarillo, which was a very long trip, and stopping at a stoplight, turning to go to the hotel, and hitting some black ice and spinning very slow motion and facing backwards and like, damn Gina, that sucked. Pulling in the parking lot, all these teeny tiny cars and no parking spots, the smallest parking lot, and I'm in an excursion and so scared to turn or hit the gas or anything. Either way, we made it safely. Like I said, it just was a freak accident or a freak storm that blew in, and it's the same as this one. We're going to, the weather hasn't been bad. It's been, actually, it was sunny like 3 days ago. You saw me sitting in overall shorts on my porch. 2 days later, here we are, and it's like, what in the world? But it's almost like, calm yourself down. Not today. Not today. I don't care. I'm like the postal person. Come rain, sleet, snow, or hail, I'm going. It doesn't matter. There's nothing stopping me. And it's like we have to get that back in our life, right? For ourselves. In this instance, I get to go see my son that I've always had in my life. I homeschooled him. They stayed home with me for him to go off in the military and then be like, can't call, can't talk, can't see, can't. We've wrote a few letters, but it takes almost like a week for them to be delivered, and it took us 2 weeks to even get his address. So it's like, okay, wait patiently. I don't want to keep being patient. I just want to do it now. And that's how I've been for most of my life. Patience. Pity the fool that's patient, right? But I've had to sit down and learn to be patient. And I will tell you, if you're stubborn, if you're demanding, if you refuse, don't tell me what to do. Controlling, I've not been that. You see that guilty face? Yeah, we've all been controlling at some point because we want what we want, right? We want what makes us comfortable, not what others tell us we want. When you're in a toxic relationship, sadly, that's what we accept. What others tell us we want. And it doesn't matter how your soul is screaming like, no, I want more. You want more. We're better than this. And a lot of times you're like, well, but they said. Okay. It took a lot for me to go, you know what? I know what you think I want, and I know what I want. But it took me having an existential crisis. I was sitting on a porch. I think I've shared this story before. I was sitting on, it was a balcony actually, in Mexico. And I'm sitting and writing and watching these free classes on women starting business, right? And my ex is there. Well, he wasn't my ex at the time, but my kid's dad is there. And he was just irking my spirit. And his smell, the way he walked, the way he wore headphones all the time, just walking around. Knowing he wasn't listening to anything, he was just being nosy and eavesdropping. We all know your tricks. But either way, I'm sitting there and all of a sudden I keep hearing, you need to leave. You need to get out of this situation. And I'm like, at some point, I had heard this for a decade. And I'm like, no, it'll work out. It's fine. And all of a sudden I saw my face inside my eyes. I don't know how else to explain it. I saw me at me, but it was within me. And it was almost like my spirit was telling me, either you're going to do it or I'm out. And you don't want your spirit to give up on you, believe me. You don't want to give in to zombie land. You don't want to give in to things that no longer allow you to have goals and dreams and aspirations and desires and choices. And, you don't want to just say, I quit. Do what now? Because next thing you know, you're just, whatever you say. Then you're raising the next generation to do that. And we're better than that. We're not here to be subservient individuals. We're here to create a masterpiece. We, as humans, have come up with neighborhoods and vehicles and airplanes. And we watch other species and we take from their design and we create things that we can utilize. We don't necessarily come up with these ideas on our own because, like I said, we watch nature. We see how other species work. You have birds that fly. Look at that. You can have an airplane. You have bees that nest together. You have a hive mentality called neighborhoods. You have pack animals that run together out of safety. Badly, that's corporate. Wolves. Don't go there, Sheena. Okay. Either way it goes, like I said, allow yourself to just get excited. Remember that you have something to offer. If it's not to the world, you have it to offer to yourself. We forget about ourselves, which is odd because we're the one person we see in the mirror every freaking day when we're getting ready. It's like we look past ourselves, though. And I don't know if that's something that we were kind of taught, that when you stare in the mirror, you admire yourself. That's vanity. Narcissus, right? That was a myth. Tale as old as time. And then you have mirror, mirror on the wall. But just because you see yourself doesn't mean you're self-absorbed. I see myself. I see where I have stray hairs and things that I don't care to have there, and I fix them, and I manicure myself so that I like my appearance. And it's funny, I was talking to a coworker the other day, and I told her, I said, I like your haircut. It's funny, I was thinking about dyeing mine blonde, and she had done mostly blonde, and she had her nose piercing in, and she goes, I've had this pierced for ages, and I finally thought, you know what? I'm tired of who I'm looking at in the mirror, and I'm going to change it. And she said, so I bought myself some new jewelry and cut my hair and did my hair, and she's like, and I'm liking me better. And then I'm finding that I've got all these ideas and things she was going to do, and it's cool that we can affect one another. That just by somebody saying, hey, that looks good on you, or hey, I like that, you'll hear what they're going through, what they've been through, why they're doing that. And then you can look at them and go, I admire you for that. That inspires me to do blah, blah, blah with my life, right? that just reminded me of walking up. And I said, I don't say blah, blah, blah. And my coworker just looked at me and was like, never known with you. I was like, it doesn't have a filter. I would say I'm sorry, but I'm not. I know, I'm just like blah, blah, blah. I'm just really happy and excited right now. And I seem to get really silly when I'm happy and excited. It's almost like thinking you're not going to get that Red Ryder BB gun, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I got more than the Red Ryder BB gun. It came with babies. I can actually use it. So if you're feeling down and out, don't wait for something to happen to cheer you up. If you have to think of a memory of a time that you were happy, get that feeling back in your life. Because all day long, not all day, but in the morning, I walked outside and I was like, oh, it's so chilly. It's not chilly, it's freaking cold. someone left the refrigerator or the Antarctic open, and I even took my dog out to go to the bathroom. I stood in one spot on the porch so long my feet stuck to the porch, and then I couldn't find her, so I had to walk out. The wind's blowing, and I'm out there yelling her name because we have these dogs that are like wolves that try to take out the little animals. So I'm out there looking for her, and I'm like, maybe I can't see her because her sweater. I'm yelling her name. Finally, I'm all just looking all over. I turn around, she's on the porch just wagging her tail, and I'm like, how the hell did she sneak past me? But she was like, girl, it's cold out here. Why are you being out here? What's up with you? Why? But anywho, little dumb moments in my life. I don't even know why I shared that with you. Oh, because how cold it is outside. So even if there are things that are dampering your life, that are bringing you down, like the weather, you can pick yourself back up. You can find something. My daughter and I sat down and watched a movie last night. Tonight, I taught her how to make rice, and made dinner, and we tried to change our attitudes, because for most of the day, I've been like, ugh, like everything's getting on my nerves. I don't want to do this. But then whenever I finally made dinner, it was like, I feel better. I don't know, maybe someone just needs to make dinner. A home-cooked meal is what I'm saying, not something that just comes out of a package and you read and dump and pump. I don't know. There's a lot of nutrients and minerals in fresh fruits and vegetables, and a lot of people don't find the time to use those. There's a lot of free recipes out there. You will feel better. And if you don't have time for that, at least drink plenty of water. Stay hydrated, because my exercise routine comes and goes. I try to get back on par with it, and then sometimes I'm just like, ugh, I don't feel like it. But that's also allowing that depression and low vibing mentality to come back in. So if you're feeling that way, sending you lots of love, and just remember a good time. Even if it's that time that it was all shits and giggles till someone shit their pants. I don't know. Have a good night. Peace out.